Hey train friends, welcome back to the Pittsburgh Industrial Railroad and the Horseshoe Curve. Today is a really exciting day because the Lionel Legacy Pennsy S1 has arrived. I ordered the as-built version and I haven't even opened this thing up out of the box yet, and I'm super excited to do that and share that with you guys. We'll do a running session, a little review and details, and check this thing out. This thing is just going to be massive. It's a huge engine. It's going to be the largest engine in my collection, and I just can't wait to try it out on the layout and see how it goes. So sit back and enjoy. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy this video. Alright guys, we got it out of the box and on the layout, and this thing is a monster. Wow, look at that. It is a huge locomotive, and boy is it beautiful. On April 28, 1937, the Pennsylvania Railroad approved the construction of an experimental high-speed passenger locomotive project. The S1 was constructed at the Altoona Works and was the largest steam passenger locomotive ever constructed. The cast steel locomotive bed plate was the largest single piece of casting ever made for a locomotive. Coming in at a whopping 140.5 feet long, the S1 was 8.5 feet longer than a big boy. It was the largest and heaviest rigid frame reciprocating steam locomotive that was ever built. The PRR S1 class steam locomotive was nicknamed the Big Engine, and it was a single experimental duplex locomotive. Its streamlined Art Deco style shell was designed by Raymond Loewy. With its unique 6.446 wheel design, rigid frame, and sleek design, the S1 could reach top speeds of over 100 miles per hour. The S1 made its debut at the 1939 New York World's Fair, with the lettering on the tender American Railroads. It sat on display with rollers and the wheels turning at a constant 60 miles per hour. After nearly 25 million viewers attended the fair, the S1 was relettered back to Pennsylvania and put into service starting December 1940 on a run between Chicago and Pittsburgh. Due to its gigantic size, the S1 could not negotiate the track clearances of most of the lines on the PRR system. It had a brief service life that was restricted between Chicago, Illinois, and Crestline, Ohio. Due to its wheel slip issues and limited use, the S1 was retired in December of 1945 after 5 years of service. The Pennsylvania Railroad had discussions of trying to salvage the locomotive, but financial troubles prohibited them from doing that, and it was later scrapped in 1949. The Lionel Legacy Pennsylvania S1 Duplex was offered in the 2020 Volume 2 catalog and was just delivered to dealers in early August 2021. It's been 20 years since Lionel has offered this locomotive, and this run has 4 different versions available. The as-built version, which we see here, the American Railroads version, and then 2 what-if paint schemes, which are the calendar version and the ever-so-controversial Tuscan scheme. All 4 versions come with the standard Legacy steam features, safety valve steam, 3 default air horn sounds, and 2 steam whistles to choose from. The length comes in at 36.25 inches. They're made of all die-cast metal, and the minimum curve is 072. The MSRP of the S1 is $1599.99, although you may be able to find one for less if you contact a reputable dealer. Overall, I think Lionel did a fantastic job on these locomotives. The safety valve steam feature is really awesome and the sounds are amazing. The interchangeable horns and whistles are great. And I just wanted to note that the minimum curve does say 072, but I would recommend if you plan on purchasing one of these that you run it on an 080 curve minimum. I have noticed that it is hanging up a little bit and binding on 072 curves. So starting off with the details in the front of this beautiful Art Deco style locomotive, we have the Trailblazer plate and the cover where your coupler is at behind there. You can also swap in a dummy coupler if you want to double head this thing. You have your really neat looking headlight here, the nice polished silver grab irons, and then up on the top here you have your marker lights and your number boards. And the marker lights are bicolored. Using your Legacy remote, you can toggle back and forth between green and white LED marker lights. And moving along to the top of this locomotive, you have the beautiful streamlined design that continues. Dual smokestacks where you will load fluid into just one of these. And then you have your safety valve smoke feature. And it's accessed by removing this small magnetic piece where you can see that you load the smoke fluid right there. And looking down the side of the locomotive, you can see the beautiful streamlined design and the skirting that covers up the top of the massive drive wheels. And then you have your legible builder's plates that says Altoona Works. And looking at the cab, you can see there is glass in the windows, an opening here where you can look inside and see the engineer and fireman figures. These doors are fixed, they do not open. There's little steps that are cut in to the die-cast metal. And then on the top, you have an opening hatch, which you can look down inside and see all the details on the inside. And looking inside of the cab, you can see all of the amazing details with the gauges and valves, the flickering LED firebox, the engineer figure, and you can even see out the window. And taking a look at the gap between the locomotive and tender, you can see it is a pretty significant gap here. It's about a thumb width apart. And using it's kind of like a little bit of an older style tether between the engine and the tender. All right, here we have our beautiful tender with this amazing looking Pennsylvania lettering spread all the way down the side and your nice keystone logo there. And the silver ribbing does continue down the entire side of the tender as well. And looking down at the top of the tender, you can see this nice real coal load, the beautiful red painted deck with opening hatches, and other details such as these compressors and this middle handrail. It's very nice. And on the back of the tender, you have these red marker lights, the rear reverse light, this nice ladder, a plaque, and of course, the electrocoupler. All right, so we're going to start this bad boy up. Listen to the sound features, the 5 bells and whistles, which are selectable on the remote. And in this case, this locomotive has 3 horns and 2 whistles.
This is the Yardmaster. Get us set up running. Your train will be ready at 17:30. Over. Okay, let's get to work. Out. Dispatcher. Ready to roll. Can I pull? Over. Sit tight for a minute. We've got some traffic to clear first. Out. Timetable only gives us 10 minutes for this stop. I'll send the fire. She'll come off safe. What are your orders? Just hold here for 2 weeks and then take the main to the next interlock. Hold the main and we'll loop orders past the tower. Call in the flagman and let's get going. Dispatcher, am I cleared to the outbound? Over. You're clear to proceed east. Out. Dispatcher, ready to roll. Can I pull? Over. Sit tight for a minute. We've got some traffic to clear first. Out.